What's going on, EoP sports fans? It's Wednesday night. It's 8:30. It's time for EoP. I'm Big Al,
I'm Joe Sheeran.
and we are here in studio tonight talking about Philly sports 4 for 4, and maybe even a little bit more. You never know what's going to happen. I want to remind everybody that this show is brought to you by Sherry's Tickets, SherryInjuryLaw.com, Dolan's Bar, as well as PhillySportsTrips.com. So, guys, we're going to get all those great sponsors in a moment. But, Joe, we got to talk about the Phillies played earlier today, another Wednesday
They did.
afternoon matinee, another soggy rain. They feel like the Phillies just can't get away from this bad weather because we might have bad weather tomorrow coming back here to Citizens Bank
I
Park to
know.
start that 10-game homestand. But they win the series. Not always the prettiest wins, but they're getting some wins together.
Win is win is win.
Is a win, no matter if it's in the wind or in the rain. Um, Joe, let's just jump right into it. There's some struggles you see with the Phillies. It's some struggles that we've seen last year and even the year before that. Is it okay to be like, all right, we've been here and done this before. Let's just see how this plays out.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay, sir.
Uh, this is the way I'm looking at it. We've seen this story before. We know what's going to happen. My biggest problem with it right now is because I don't think we've had as much of a layup of a month with the teams that the teams we have played and are in line to play for this month. I don't think we've seen that stretch of winnable games in the first month of the opening season in a very, very long time. They should be and need to be stacking wins right now. For whatever reason, this team just cannot start hot anytime when they start the season. When I say we've seen this story before, we know what happens in April. We know what happens in May with the Phillies. Once June hits, it's like that. It's just that cliche saying that the bats will get hot and the Phillies will start to play to their potential. But it's just very, very annoying waiting for that to actually happen. When you look at the team and what they've done, they're not putting up runs, and that's the biggest issue. The pitching, in my opinion, starting, relief, close, whatever you want to say, they've been playing very, very well. And you can even say that with them giving up 4 blown saves already. But if, for whatever reason, the pitching has been well. The batting has been awful. I put a post out there yesterday saying that Nick Castellanos stinks, and you know what? The past 2 games, he's been batting 375 in 8 at bats, 3 hits, 1 RBI. And now I'm not going to sit here and BS and say, "Oh well, I put the post out and said that because I wanted to light a fire in Nick Castellanos' ass." No, I said it because he stinks. So it doesn't. Just the fact that he's played well the past 2 games, it doesn't change my mind on that. Uh, yeah, he played well at stretches last year. People talking about his fielding and the not giving up any errors. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong here,
You're wrong.
but calculating errors when it comes to the outfield is completely different than calculating errors to the infield. I mean, just letting a ball bounce in front of you if you don't leg it out. I mean, what? You're not going to be charged an error on that? That's why these guys don't, or Nick Castellanos hasn't been charged with these errors because he's not. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too hard on him because it is everyone's saying, "Oh, it's been 10 effing games and blah blah blah." Well, I don't care. I mean, we're always saying that the Phillies need to get off to a hot start. I need 1 through 9 to get off to a hot start. I know Bryce Harper went 0 for 11 in the first 4 or 5 games, and he has the big one, the 3 home runs with a grand salami thrown in there. And then the next night he had 2 doubles, and he's been spotty as well, but he's starting to pick it up. I think Bowman's been hitting well. Stott is grinding out at bats. It's so frustrating watching this team right now. And you know what? They're only at 500.
I mean, listen. Last year, listen. What's your term with a hot start or a good start? Like, what is your definition? I guess would be the best way of saying it. Like,
2 or
is
3
it
games
better than
over
last
500.
year? Is like better than last
Well,
year?
I will say this. It's encouraging that they already had 2 series on the road and they're coming back 4-2 and won both those series. So I mean that is very encouraging. I mean, you got 4 against Pittsburgh. Who the hell knows what's going to happen? Like maybe these two. And again, it's encouraging that they won 2 series in a row. The first 2 series, you can kind of just let that go. The first series was against the Braves. You know that's a tough one right there, division, and it's the juggernaut Braves. The Reds were hot to start the season. You know they should have won that series. They didn't. They won the last 2 series, but, it's just things have to get better. They really do.
Listen, it's far from perfect. There's definitely some glaring holes. Johan Rojas has been playing better as
Yeah, that
well.
guy, he stinks.
Oh, come on. Let the guy go. Let the guy live. But I mean, there was some again, I'm not making excuses, but there were some hiccups in spring training
Sure.
that didn't allow them to get a full feel for their team, if you want to call it that. Between the sicknesses that ran around the locker room that slowed down people getting at bats and pitching.
Tired of the excuses, Al.
Listen, I don't want to make
These are professional ass players making a lot of money who have played countless seasons, if you want to combine them all. They should not be worrying about a little bit of a sickness and not getting so many at bats. Bryce Harper, he had a back injury in after his first game, and he didn't play again for the rest of the spring training.
Bo's chiming in here. I seem to remember a couple seasons where they came out to a hot start and completely s the bed in September. I mean, listen,
True.
let's
2 seasons ago,
let's
they
talk
did
about
that.
the team that they're about to play. The Pirates had a really good start last
Yes,
year.
they did.
They have a really good start this year. And what happened after July?
They suck.
They just fell apart and they went back in
They
the
sucked an egg.
I wouldn't even say mediocrity, but pretty much. So, I mean, the old saying is you could lose the season in April, but you can't win it. So I feel if you come out of April a couple games plus 500, I'm happy. I know
Sure.
maybe that's just because I'm so used to it anymore because we all know what May's going to be like. I mean, look how people are freaking about April. Wait to May. May's going to be worse. This team gets cold in May. Bryce Harper has decent numbers usually in April. Did not have a great start, like you said, but then had the 3 home runs with one being the grand slam in that game against the Reds.
I had tickets to that game and didn't go.
And that's why you had 3 home runs.
That's why I had 3 home
that's
runs.
why. The mush was not there to mush.
Yes, that's
It's
right.
all right. I've actually, on the Fighting Spinal, we've been keeping track of wins to the host.
I saw that.
And
Yeah.
right now,
1-4.
I'm 1-4. So I'm a mush when it comes to hosting.
Dude, just to talk about that game, we're sitting at home, me and Lex, and of course we're watching it. And like, oh my God, what a game. And then it hits me. Oh, we had tickets to this game. And she's like, you really think that, if we were there, he would have done this? I was like, you know what? You may have a point.
Yeah. She's even picking up on it now.
Oh my God. Oh, yeah.
Is she taking any ownership in what she did?
No.
No, it's all you. It's all you.
Squarely on my shoulders. Squarely on my shoulders.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. But I mean, like I said, when I do the post game shows, I have to argue with people left and right. I'm like,
course.
guys, it's 10 games in, it's 11 games in, it's 12 games in. Like, we can't make a decision.
But hold on. When does that stop? Like, are you going to get to 25 games and be like, guys, it's 25 games in? Like, at what point is it? You know what? They should be turning a corner at this point.
Listen, I agree. There's got to be a point, and it's hard to kind of gauge. But I would say you get to the end of April and you're like 5, 6, 7 games under 500. Yeah, it's something to worry about. Because again, we all know how May plays out for this team.
Oh, 100%.
And if we if we have our 5 or 6, 7 games under 500, and we're quickly 10 games, 13 games behind the Braves, that whole, wanting to get out a hot start and compete for the division kind of falls on deaf ears.
I don't think you know how much I understand how bipolar I am when it comes to all this. I literally said in spring training, I said, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I'm not going to get overly concerned in April. It's 1 month and blah, blah, blah. And now here we are, 10, 11, 12 games in. And I'm like, my hair is on fire. What is happening here?
But because Joe,
4 blown saves is a lot, though. I mean, come on.
That's my point. There's good, and then there's some bad. And the problem is, the good is what we needed, but the good part about the bad is the bad can be easily fixed. But we're going to get into a couple of those things in a second. And one of them, who's on the screen, is the poster you were talking about, Nick Castellanos. He's one of my. When I heard the whole thing about it's hard to gauge the new wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, did Tom just say that with a straight face? Like, I was sitting there going, did I hear that correctly? Like, that was what he just said. I'm like, I get it's a little different because I said I can understand maybe the feel of the wall's different because they have that screen meshing on it. But like, I don't know about like the depth of the wall didn't change, right? Like the height of the wall didn't change.
I will never understand this. Like, I get that the old board was just black and white, had the old fashioned lighted score, and I get that it's different. It may be an adjustment to the brighter lights, the constant switching of the colors and ads and blah blah blah. But you're going to tell me that none of the other baseball stadiums in the league that they play at
Joe.
have those scoreboards like that?
But Joe,
That it's only Citizens Bank Park
no.
that
But
this
doesn't
is
matter.
at.
It doesn't matter. Your back's to the goddamn
Well, that's
wall.
true too.
I don't understand that point. Like, you're not. It's not. All right. I can understand the shadows coming on the field when you're at bat. It throws your depth perception off.
By the sun?
Well, the shadows from the towers because of the sun.
Okay.
Yeah, I can
I get that.
understand that because that throws your eye.
100%.
Yeah, you're staring at it.
100%.
That stuff's behind you. You don't turn. I know I'm on the mic, so I'm not trying to. You don't turn and run and look at the wall. You trot backwards.
Yeah. And if his whole argument is when he does run and turn back for a ball that's clearly sailing over his head and he does not have a good jump on it at all. First off, I don't know how that isn't an error.
Mm-hmm.
But also, if you're looking up, the trajectory of your eyesight, if you're looking up at the ball in a black sky and the lights that you should be completely used to tracking a ball under, why is this thing down on the field level bothering you?
Yeah.
It makes absolute no sense.
No. It makes no sense. Listen, him and Trey are two guys, when they struggle in one area, they struggle in all areas.
Sure.
So they're struggling at the bat, they're struggling on the field.
I almost ripped him too, and then he had a good game.
Well, I mean, listen, guys it's 162 games. Guys have to have good games and bad games. It's just the good games have to outweigh the bad games.
Of course.
But right now, Trey Turner is barely an okay shortstop in my eyes.
Are you more worried about the fielding or the at plate?
It doesn't matter because, like I just said, they one coincides with the other.
I understand, but you have to know that one is gonna harm you more than the other when it comes to winning a game.
I'm just typing in. Don't have the energy to be revved up about April Phillies baseball. Wake me up when September ends. Was that a Green Day song?
That is a Green Day song.
Who? I don't like Green Day. Sorry. But
don't get me started.
I won't get. I know you feel about that, but like I said, there's some good spots. There's some bright spots. The good spots, the bright spots I love about the bright spots that really should make people excited about the team, is that these are the things that you need to happen to have a good run. And what that is,
but you don't not every team goes through growing pains in April and May. Like, I'm sure other teams other than the Phillies do that I'm not paying attention to because I'm not paying attention to every team in the league. But when I look at what the Braves have done, and I understand that the Braves are a very, very good team, but they always get off to a hot start. Spencer Strider right now could possibly be going under Tommy John. And what did that news break down that team? No, they're still winning. They had one bad game against the Mets, and they're still winning.
They'll have some guy come up.
Yeah,
Cy
Young. Yeah, Chris Sale will end up being their ace.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. That's what's going to happen. I mean, listen, the Rangers are 6-5.
True.
They went deep into the playoffs. Who else? The Astros went deep into the playoffs, and they're 4-8.
The Dodgers always get off to a hot start.
Yeah,
they're the first team to reach 10 wins.
And look at it; they're also the first team out of the playoffs. Usually,
that's fair too. And so are the Braves.
So the Braves are 7-3. And the Dodgers are 10-5.
I just want to enjoy April and May baseball. I don't, like you're saying, like it's 10, 11, 12 games, blah, blah, blah. I don't want us to get into June and be like, oh, well, there's still 4 more months. You know, like it has to end at some point, and we have to put this team in accountability.
But again, so what I was saying earlier is I'm like, the parts that...
it's not only you.
No, I know. But the parts that are a problem can be fixed. And what I mean by that, we know Nick can be good. It's not like we're hoping Nick can be something he's not.
But has Nick ever been?
His problem is year to year he's different.
I can't say that he's been good with the Phillies. He's had good moments. He's had good stretches. But can you say he's been good for this team now entering his 3rd season?
Well, first year, not so much. Second year, much better.
100%.
But if you look at his
100%.
career, that's what he does. He's 1 year on, 1 year off. So that's the scary part.
After the last season, you said, oh, I'm feeling a Nick Castellanos comeback season.
Yeah.
A comeback from one if you're saying that last season he was good.
Yeah. Well, no,
You're saying he has to be great.
no. I'm saying I said that last year going into the year before last year. I mean, from 22 to
You
23.
said this year he was going to have a comeback.
I said Trey. I thought. No.
Well, I think
Yeah.
you may have been talking about the playoffs because he
Okay.
played like shit in the playoffs. So
And the funny thing is he played well in the playoffs until that Diamondbacks game where they blast them apart and then they fell apart after that. The
what a
whole team
depressing
did.
series that was.
Yeah, but I guess the silver lining, like I'm saying, is Nick can be better. He has the ability to be
He
better.
can be better.
Yeah,
But I don't know if we can say that he can be good.
but there's enough guys around him that you can get past him. And fine, move him down the
All
lineup.
right, would you say Bryson Stott is a good player?
Very much so.
Do you think Nick Castellanos could be a better player than Bryson Stott?
Power wise or in general?
Just in general, because if you're saying Stott is good,
Yeah.
that means can Castellanos be
I think
better?
Scott's going to be above Castellanos.
Okay, then
definitely.
you can't call him good because if he can't get to the level or surpass Bryson Stott, then he's not a good player.
I think it's hard to little compare, but I think he could be good, as good.
I might be out of my mind.
Yeah, I think he'd be as good. I don't need him to be a superstar if the other guys are doing their job. I mean, Kyle Schwarber got off to a much better start than we're used to seeing, which is a huge plus.
Lead off.
Lead off.
He's a lead off guy now.
Then what am I saying? Alec Boehm's doing what he does best. I still don't understand that one game where they won and they walked Bryce Harper. And I knew Bryce was struggling at the time to get to the best hitter with guys in scoring position. I never understood that thought process with the Reds.
I think because with 1 inch of a pitch being, on or off the plate, Bryce is going to do damage or not. I mean,
but Alec Boehm can do damage.
I understand that, but I think 9 times out of 10, you will always walk Bryce Harper to get to the guy behind him.
And Angry Ants chiming in, Castellanos should be traded. Nobody's going to.
You know what?
I'll
tell you what. I kept thinking back to the beginning of the Phillies offseason, like those rumors came out about Castellanos being on the trade block. And I kind of like pooed it off as well with many other people. And now I'm looking back at it and I'm like,
I think
they should have just got whatever they could for him.
No, I think it was real. I think what they were doing
was to see if anyone bit.
To see if there's any bites on it. And if nobody bit on it, we could just roll back like that was lies. No, Nick, we never said that.
And then of course there's the argument, people saying like, oh well, once he starts playing better, then you can't like flip flop. Be like, oh yeah, he's good. Yeah, I can. Because
have you never watched any Philadelphia sports fan?
I literally just said how much I understand my bipolarness of this all.
Ang said Cassie's a fresh start, but I think he's a fresh start all the time. I mean, he came here. It took him a whole year to get acclimated to the city.
Do you think the marketplace of Philadelphia and the fans and kind of like the pressure being on a player's shoulders, like especially coming from like other markets that he played in that I don't think were even.
It was Cubs, Reds.
I think was he at Detroit at one point?
Might have been, yeah.
It doesn't even hold a candle to what Philadelphia is here.
I think the Cubs do. Cincinnati as much.
Cubs, I can see that.
Cincinnati as much.
You just think people like they just don't understand what it is until they get here, and then they see it and they're like, "Oh, I don't know if I can handle this." And now here they are, locked in for 5 years.
Listen,
I will say this: he's been a professional. Like he hasn't BS'd. He hasn't thrown people under the bus. Maybe he needs a list
that he hates this effing place, and then we'll all get around him.
That's true too. He does say some things. He does seem like he gets annoyed sometimes at stuff, though.
I
rightfully so.
I equated him to a Pat Burrell-esque type player one afternoon.
Well, then maybe I just overvalued that signing.
Well, no. Listen, he was one of the big power bats available at that time between him and Kyle Schwarber, and we got both of them.
Both. I will say this: when it came to those signings, if it was one of the two, I was always leaning towards Schwarber.
Yeah, and then listen, you can have your complaints about it, but
everyone's got him now. He's playing like crap.
And that's it. But like Pat Burrell was the same way. Remember, first part, Pat Burrell had a great rookie year and then sucked for a while. Like was mediocre for a while, and then wasn't better until about he got close into his the age of Nick Castellanos right now. And then that 2008.
How old is he?
Who?
Castellanos.
Is he? If
he's got to be 30, 31.
Yeah, I think he's just 30, 31.
Okay.
But I don't think I'm not as worried about Nick Castellanos because it's everything around him I'm more worried about. And real quick, I'll remind you guys that this is brought to you by Sherry'sTickets.com. That's right, Sherry'sTickets.com. Family owned and operated since 1946. Doesn't matter, Joe, if you're going to get sports, concerts, or theater tickets, they have them all available. Doesn't matter if you're in the Philadelphia area, if you're in the continental United States, go to Sherry'sTickets.com and maybe use a great promo code.
EoP 10.
That's right. EoP 10 will save you 10% off at Sherry'sTickets.com. Already great prices, no hidden fees, and use that great promo code.
EoP 10.
That's right. EoP 10 to save 10% off at Sherry'sTickets.com. So I was saying to you, Joe, like the part that doesn't worry me about too much about Castellanos just yet is I know Nick has it in him to play well. When he can, he does. And I think that's sometimes in my eyes when they're struggling at both the plate and in the field, it makes me feel like, okay, at least I know it's in their head. They just not seeing the ball right. We know if they start seeing that ball right, the fielding will come. Because I was a knock on him when they put him out in right field, but then he did really well. Made some big plays during the postseason.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's caught some balls.
Yeah, and now he's having a bad moment. But where I have hope is the young guys that you don't know what you're going to get out of. You got Spencer Turnbull here. Here's in two starts, 11 innings pitched, only 5 hits allowed, 1 run, no earned runs, 1 walk, and 13 Ks.
He's been playing great.
Playing great, and just like, don't tell me that Christopher Sanchez wasn't a big reason we were able to make a run like we did last year,
100%.
where you can get stuff out of your 4 and 5 guy. This is to me, which is one of the most important things. Can we get something out of him? Did Johan Rojas turn? Did he turn a little bit of a corner, like getting his confidence back? Because when he had that big game the other night in St. Louis, their first night, you saw the kind of swagger he had. And the thing is, I was saying I'm glad he.
Let's not stroke the guy. He's had 3 hits before.
I know. Listen, that's what I'm saying. We've seen he could do it now. Now can he do it more consistently?
Right.
Is the question. But my point is, he was doing it in the fashion that Johan Rojas needs to do it in. And what I mean by that is, if he hit like 3 home runs that game, it would have been useless to me. It would have been useless to me. I mean, I'm just saying, like, because that's not the kind of play we want. The fact that he was able to leg out an infield hit, the fact that he was able to get a little bloop and stretch out to second.
Isn't it more worrisome that he has to leg out an infield hit, though, that he can't get the damn ball out of the infield?
That's all we wanted. He's not a power hitter.
I don't see him doing it as often as we need him to do it.
I think that's exactly what you want him for.
Yes, but
if you had that say
it's going to happen every time,
from Roman Quinn, would you not have been loving Roman Quinn?
No,
because he couldn't even bunt. Roman Quinn couldn't.
Because he stinks as well.
But he
stunk, I should say. He's not even here anymore.
A guy with his speed. Listen, his elite defense makes him that good to want to think about keeping him in the lineup even when he's struggling.
Right.
If he can just get on base.
What was so bad with the defense with Marsh and Pache, or enter name here? Like, why are we saying Rojas's defense is that much elevated over Brandon Marsh or one of these other guys who played center before Rojas got called up? Like, I don't remember.
I think he's
the only thing I think you can say is he's from left field to right field. He can cover more ground. That's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm just going to stick with Marsh with this. When Marsh is playing center field, I don't remember all this defensive liability in center field because Brandon Marsh was there, or that he couldn't run down a ball that was, in left center or right center. Like, I don't see, like, I'm not taking anything away from Rojas's fielding. I understand the glamour of it, but to me, before he was in center field, it wasn't that big of a black mark on the defense.
Well, remember, it was center field with Marsh. Then you had Kyle Schwarber in left field.
Right. So now with Schwarber not in left field, you almost don't even have to worry about stretching the center fielder from left to right as much.
I get what you're saying, but honestly, Joe, I think he is much better defensively in left field or in center field than Brandon Marsh.
Why though? What's the proof?
Some of the plays he made, Brandon Marsh would not be able to do.
We don't know that.
We've seen it.
No.
We've seen him play it. I think he is much better. But
now I got to look up the errors for.
It's not even just looking up the errors. Just like what are the plays they were able to make that.
I will say this.
Yeah.
I will say this. That deciding game in the division against the Braves last year when he had that catch, that was a great play. A great play I didn't even see because I was out in the concourse because I couldn't watch.
uh, was it Genwill? Genwill? I don't know. So the Philly sports bad luck transfer from the Sixers to the Eagles. Well, it went from the Eagles to the Sixers, now to the Flyers. If you think about it, it actually worked that way because the Eagles had it first. They
Yeah.
fell apart first at the end of their season. Sixers then, not too long after that, Embiid gets hurt. Now he's back. They look a lot better. And now the Flyers can't win a game against bottom feeder teams.
Yeah. But hey, to get back to the Spencer Turnbull and some of the pitching right now, they have some questions. With Tyrone Walker, he's about to go through a rehab or another rehab. I can't keep it clear because of all these other rehabs they have everyone going through. But here's my thing to it. They don't have a question mark here.
No.
As long as Spencer Turnbull is continuing to
Hot
pitch
hand,
the way
baby.
yeah, absolutely. As long as he continues to pitch, they don't have a question mark. I don't care who you have to send down to add another roster spot for Walker to just sit there as long as Spencer's your fifth starter, or you could keep Taiwan Walker down in the minors for all I care. I don't care. If Spencer Turnbull and even Chris Sanchez, as long as they continue to pitch well, Taiwan Walker is not even a thought. He's not even an afterthought. He's a never was for the season right now.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm not even positive. I am not even truly convinced that he had anything wrong with his shoulder when it came to him making the opening roster. I think they saw what he was doing in spring training. They had no faith in him when it came to the playoffs last year. He sat out in that bullpen and didn't do a damn thing. He's supposed to be your fourth starter. They gave all this money to sign him to 3-4 years, whatever it was, and he couldn't even sniff a relieving spot in the playoffs last year. And now they think they're just going to plug and play him now. There's not a shot of that even happening.
I don't think it's a shot. I don't think they have any thought of it either, Joe. Make Walker the long guy. I mean, that's what Spencer Turnbull was brought here for. They were
They don't even need that because you have Strom.
No, but Strom's more of a reliever to them now than just a long reliever.
Like, I understand. I'm just saying in that
if
spot,
you had to, yeah. But
if you have a bullpen game, that's who you start because he's going to eat up at least 3 innings.
I mean, the only thing that's going to give Taiwan Walker any upper hand is his bloated contract.
In fact, the only thing I would say about Taiwan Walker getting a start with Sanchez and Turnbull as your 4 and 5 is if they go 6-man rotation and kind of give your top 3 guys, an extra day's rest.
At
least to start, see what Walker.
We were just mentioning bad luck a little bit. And, I mean, what could have been a lot worse luck last night? Talk about a warrior. During the game, a ball was bounced about 90 miles per hour to the throat of JT Realmuto. I mean, the throat. And he was like tipsy, dude. Like, it more than knocked the wind out of him. He's probably having a whole hard time breathing because he probably swelled up a little bit. Clogged up there. But, like, he actually had to come out of the game. Garrett Stubbs came in relief for him.
Now 3-0 with Garrett Stubbs in the behind the plate.
No, wait a minute. Is it?
Yep.
They lost last night.
Oh, no, they didn't.
Yes, they did.
Oh, yes, they did. He said, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Like, wait a minute. Did I miss?
Sorry about that.
Because I made a post about that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, no. But he played today at 1:30 or whatever the time was their time.
1:15.
1:15, and that's pretty badass. I'm sorry.
It's shocking that he played today. Absolutely shocking.
I really thought they were going to be like, I mean, I guess he felt well enough.
I mean, but that's the thing. Like, they said he had a headache last night, so they had to take him out. Goddamn, took a ball to the throat, and they had to test him for a concussion. Like, I would just think even for a testing of concussion, you would think even the MLB's rules is like, hey, you got to take a day off.
Yeah, if he's in concussion protocol.
He didn't even take 18 hours off.
I guess he passed no concussion. Like that's.
Yeah, I know. It's shocking that they let him play today.
I guess he was a little woozy just from the shock of the moment more than anything. Marshawn's chiming in. Philly will always have Cody finishing this story in 2024. Is that what we're going to look back on for a while? I hope that's not it. But WrestleMania was definitely a cool thing in the city. And again, thank you to Joey and all the guys who did a great job for Philly sports.
Joey Wood did a bang-up job, man.
Yeah. I just wanted to mention that. And Joe, you put some piece of information out here the other day. Solar eclipse, talking about bright spots, stars.
John Foley really did.
Yeah, it was all John Foley. In all the years that they won, there was an eclipse.
And also leap year.
And a leap year. So maybe this is the
Saying there's a
year.
chance.
Yeah, say this is a chance. And speaking of former Phillies, by the way, for a second, because we talked about Pat earlier. Right?
Yeah.
Reese Hoskins said on a podcast, I believe it was, he said, "I think I'm going to get booed when I get back there."
And I give him total kudos for that because he knows the Philadelphia faithful. And I'm not going to boo him. I actually have tickets to his first game back, June 3rd. I know I'm going to clap. I don't know how much for the second and third at bat, but there's not a chance in hell that I'm going to be sitting on my seat for his first at bat.
Yeah. I'm not booing him. I don't understand. I don't think anybody would think of booing him.
I don't understand why you would. And I understand he is I don't think he wants to be that guy and be like, "Oh no, they're not going to boo me." Think you're bigger than it.
Mhm.
But you us as fans, you have to realize that he didn't want to leave.
No.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault he had an injury last year and a contract year, and
Do you think
and Bryce Harper took over first base. That had absolutely nothing to do with him. So there would be no reason to boo that man.
Do you think he was being a little tongue in cheek with the situation? Like he's trying more goofing than he was being serious?
It's possible.
Okay. And speaking of a guy, I believe Mike Pavernick talked about
maybe saying it just so he doesn't get booed. Sorry,
yeah, who just needs to play every day at this point right now.
Yeah,
Brando. And the guy had to probably
center field because the defense is not that much different from Rojas.
Come on, it's good. It's worth it if you can get it. Listen, you got to give the guy a chance. I'd rather give him a chance in April than July.
Would you rather have a better bat and slightly less defense than absolutely no offense until the other night and really good defense?
Do you have some offense today too?
Who?
Oh, he didn't play today.
No,
that's right. I was watching at work and going back and forth.
Yeah.
I hate these afternoon games. They kill me.
I tend to forget that they're on and then tune in late.
Yeah. I listen. If the playoffs, yeah, 100%. I want Brandon Marsh out there.
Okay, but right now you're playing to get to the playoffs.
Yeah, but in April, I'm not again. I would rather experiment with Johan Rojas right now and give him to the end of April and see how he does. I'm not sitting there saying going to May, June, and July with it if he's still doing bad. I'm not saying that he's such a world-class defense that I'm willing to take a hit.
I think that's what they're saying.
I think a little bit also is the thought process is for how many years, Joe, did you have a pitcher in that position who always struck out most? It was almost an automatic out. So why not?
That's fair.
Why not run with it to see? And listen, 1 through 8 Phillies team is better than most teams in the Major League Baseball.
But to that argument, there's not other teams that are just having experiments in their 9-hole to see if they can perform better than a pitcher.
Didn't somebody just bring up their best prospect today?
I do not know.
What's his name? Jackson from
I know.
From the Orioles. The Orioles did, right?
I read something about one of the top prospects coming up, and I can't remember who it was.
But he's a shortstop, and
who was that?
Something Jackson.
No, I'm just trying to think of the team right now.
I think it was the Orioles. I had it.
Could have been.
But whatever. But I'm like, I would rather experiment in April with anything.
I'd rather win ball games.
I get it, but I'm not saying if he's costing you more games, then yeah.
I don't think Brandon Marsh in center field cost you games.
I'm not saying he does. I'm saying if Johan
in fact,
Rojas,
I think but you have to think him being in the lineup wins you games. I don't think I'm splitting hairs here.
I don't think you're splitting hairs either. I'm not arguing those facts. I'm just saying, I think he's earned every ounce of playing.
What has he
every
earned?
Day. No, I'm talking Brandon.
Oh, okay.
I think Brandon should play every day. He should be the starting left fielder no matter what.
I'd have no problem if he was a starting left fielder.
Yeah.
I'm just saying for those games where he is a bench piece, he should be in center field at that point. If you're just going to put him in one of the two spots, as long as he's in the lineup every day, that's what they should be doing.
Joe, I have to ask you this question, by the way.
Can I also say that Brandon Marsh, when he got traded here, it's another Dombrowski great move because he was their the Angels' number one prospect in their farm club. So it's not out of the realm that this guy's coming over here and 2 years later he's really starting to put it together. He needs the reps as well. He's young. He should be in there as well.
I
don't understand why Brandon Marsh has to be put on the back burner for Rojas when Rojas his sample size is ridiculous.
Well, why is he putting him on the back burner? Why can't he start left field every
He
day?
can start in left field.
But why isn't he?
Why does Rojas have to start center field?
But hold on, subtract that out of the equation for a
Okay.
second. Why does Tomper not just start him in left field every day?
Because he has other players to play. Okay.
Why?
Why
would
can't
Merrifield?
Pache play center field?
Why not? But why should he play?
Why can't Merrifield play center field?
But what are they doing right now that's so much better than Johan Rojas? Not much.
Well, outside of Brandon Marsh's batting average, none of them really are doing much more.
I'm not talking about Brandon Marsh. So just say for this. Say your everyday outfield was, just for right now, left Brandon, center Johan, right field Nick Castellanos. So don't worry about Nick.
Mm-hmm.
So why can't that be your starting outfield?
Because you have more left fielders than center fielders, really. Like Merrifield can play wherever the hell he wants.
Mm-hmm.
I would much rather have Merrifield in left field, Marsh in center, because I believe Brandon Merrifield. Sorry, with Merrifield, he is a proven bat. I understand he's getting off to a slow start as well. He has a batting title. Like, this guy is a proven hitter, and I think he should be. I think he should be in the lineup a lot more. Like Merrifield and Marsh should not be taking a back seat to Rojas just because he has elite center field defense. When I think Brandon Marsh in center field can be just as good.
At one point, they got to see if he can do it again.
I don't think they do. Like, he batted .302 last year, and it did not seem like he batted .302
because he didn't have a lot of time up here. Like,
what the hell does that matter?
He only played from.
So what your point is if he would have started the season, his batting average probably would have been like 200.
Yeah, and you still let Kyle Schwarber lead off with that.
Well, yeah, come on, stop that.
I'm just saying.
Did you just compare?
I know, but I'm just saying, we're talking about just batting average alone. That's my point. My point is, like, I'm okay during the month of April to give this guy a chance to see if he can get his bat better.
But my thing is I don't think he deserved the chance. But what the problem is with it now is if you send him down, it looks like a failure. What should have happened is they should have started him in the minors and then brought him up at some point. Now you're kind of you're stuck. You're stuck that you have to play this guy in center field because then it looks like you don't know what the hell you're doing.
How many years?
They're saying that he needs. I know I'm cutting you off, and I apologize for it, but they're saying that they need the at bats, the experience, because it's scapegoat. His elite defense is a scapegoat for why he's still up here or why they continue to play him.
I think they see something in him. I think they see something in him, and they want to give it a chance. And Joe, for how many?
I should have traded him.
Joe, for how many years have we heard that guys who, like Ryan Howard, who should have been up here a lot sooner,
100%.
And then how many times? And also in the recent years, how many guys have we seen play and they go down to the minors, play like amazingly well, and then come up here and stink buttholes? I'm just saying.
Threw me off with that one. But how many other players did they bring up? Unlike Ryan Howard, he came up when he was like 27, 28. We said it was too late. But now look at all these other guys, Bryson Stott, even Kingery, even though he went down, he never came back up. Alec Boehm. There are these other guys who are up in the on the main roster because they have been contributing. They have been showing improvement. Look at Alec Boehm. He says, I hate the seventh place. And then through the season, he got much better at third base. And that's why he's continued to be up here. He's batting and his fielding has gotten better. Rojas, none of it's gotten better.
All right, well, let's roll it back. Let's go to Boehm for a second.
Even Derek Hall when he came up. I mean, he played first base. He was hitting very well, and then he got sent back down. He's being sent back down because he's not playing up to his potential right now. Neither is Rojas. They shouldn't be keeping him up here just because they have to at this point.
Well, hold on. Derek Hall, first part, love him to death, but he stinks. He just stinks.
Oh, come on.
Oh, no, he stinks.
Okay.
He is a good batter. He's Nick Castellanos.
He's another Darren Ruff, and I understand that.
He's Darren Ruff, Nick Castellanos, like probably more Darren Ruff than Nick Castellanos, but very streaky in a hitter. He's got the power to do so, but it's very inconsistent.
Correct. And where is he now?
But hold on.
But where is he now?
Hold on.
Who else is a streaky hitter in what we're talking about right now?
Hold on.
You lost, pal.
Let me finish. No, let me finish. But he has no defense to show for it. So
He's a first baseman.
but he's not good at it. He wasn't good at first base.
Neither was Rhys Hoskins. And now people 10, 11 games into the season are bitching that he's not here.
People were bitching they wasn't here last year. When everybody before he hurt himself didn't want
He
him
couldn't
here.
be here last year because he hurt himself.
But then
If he could have, he would have been.
Nobody wanted him
You can't
here.
compare. You cannot compare it.
Nobody wanted him here until he couldn't be here. Like, that's my thing with Rhys Hoskins. Love Rhys Hoskins. Wife bought people beer. Freaking awesome. Great.
She didn't buy me a beer.
But everybody was over Rhys Hoskins last
100%.
year before he got hurt.
100%.
And then when the bats got cold, well, if Rhys was here, he might be able to hit
100%.
more. And that's bullshit.
And am I not here sitting telling you I am over Rojas?
You were telling me that.
Right. So why should he remain here?
Because you're over Rojas in 8 seconds.
I was over Rojas in the playoffs last
Alec
year.
Boehm,
I was at Game 7 last year, and it was bases loaded, and Rojas was up the bat, and I knew that nothing was coming out. Okay, oh no, I know. Rob Thompson, I understand that. I'm
saying that honestly, I don't blame. I'm not one to jump down the manager's throat, but that was a Rob Thompson.
I agree.
Move. Yeah.
I agree.
Like
but what I'm stating here is seeing him come up to bat in the playoffs in that situation, regardless of if he should have been pitch hit for or not. I knew nothing was coming from that because he was hitting .03.
Agreed on that.
He stinks.
I agree on that. And they were probably hoping that...
You know what? Screw it. His defense sucks. I'm saying it.
Okay, now
you're saying it out. His defense sucks.
Well, Dan Walmsley been saying this all along. Joey knows that. I don't know exactly what rhetoric he was talking about. You were just spewing, but he's one of those things. Robbie Bumble depended away. I know. We all know that Mike is not a big fan of him. Castellanos is very streaky. I guess he means streaky.
You knew what he meant.
I know. I'm just messing with him. But again, like Joe, go back to the Alec Boehm moment when he did the whole 3 hours in the same game.
Sure.
I often hate this place. Sure. He was batting well at the time, but he wasn't batting great. Like, nothing for you to sit there and go, this guy. We knew he had potential to be a much better hitter. Nothing that we knew what we were getting from now, because right now
he was never batting 11. Alec Boehm.
No, but
he was never batting 11.
But he's kind of the reverse in Johan Rojas at the time. His defense was very poor, but his bat was good enough to see what he had.
But the difference with that is, you know what happened after he said that? He was asked about it in the locker room after, and he said, "Yeah, I said it. I was frustrated."
Yeah.
He took accountability
and he got better.
And ownership,
and he got better.
The rest of that season, he got so much better. From that moment, he has improved better. every single game.
But if you didn't give him a chance, you would have had him shipped out of here.
How much of a chance are we going to give Rojas?
I'm asking a month. That's all I'm asking. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm not giving you a month.
Joe, all right.
I'm not here to appease your monthness.
I'm done. Real quick, before we move, before I have another question to ask you, might get us in another fight. We'll find out. But I got to ask you, Joe, when we want to get away, maybe check out these Phillies outside of town. Me and you, where do you go? We're going to go to phillysportstrips.com. That's right. 100%. Baltimore, Camden Yards, dude. How fun is Camden Yards?
Beautiful place.
It's very inexpensive to go with Philly Sports Trips because it's a day trip. So there's no flights or anything. It's a bus trip. It's the ticket. It's the food. It's the atmosphere. It's the party. You can go check it out. If you want to go to Fenway Park in Boston, you want to go out to Chicago and check out Wrigley Field. You want to go out to Pittsburgh for Pittsburgh. PNC Park is a pretty sweet park, though. I have to admit it. And there's no other reason to go out to Pittsburgh except for watching.
PNC Park is beautiful.
There's no other reason to go out to Pittsburgh but to watch the Phillies play the Pirates. I'm just going to put it there. I'm just going to throw it out there. It is absolutely true. So go to phillysportstrips.com. And because we're going to talk about it later, we know who the Eagles are going to play in the Brazil trip now, which is going to be the Green Bay Packers. Spoiler alert. If you've been living under a rock for the last 12 hours. But that trip is available too at phillysportstrips.com. So check it out. So, Joe, can we maybe agree on this?
No. Yes.
This Friday, are you looking forward to this?
I'm still not 100% sure what exactly the hell. And funny enough, Dan Wamsley, who was just on the screen, he said that he heard that they're playing, or I'm sorry, he's wearing that. They are wearing them. Thank you, Dan. That they are wearing them every home Friday game.
Yes, every home Friday game.
for the entire season.
That's what I
Am
understand.
I looking forward to it? I'll be honest with you.
All right, just
Since it's leaked, sir, since it was leaked, because we knew that it was leaked,
Yes.
we saw this. It has grown on me. I think the hats are phenomenal.
Okay,
I love the color scheme. I love the color scheme. I do.
It's funny how you said that. As the hat alone, I love it.
Yeah, top notch.
The jersey kills it for me.
The font of the Philly kills it for me, and I understand
I equated
it's an ode. It's an ode to the font that was on the Constitution, and I understand it.
I get it.
But I don't think I like that it just says Philly either.
Okay, agreed. To me, it looks like we've gone to the Springfield Mall before, and you get those little kiosks for the guys with the little Philadelphia T-shirts or something very generic. That's what it looks like to me. It's very generic. Some people were upset there was no red in it. Like there should be some homage to the red, and it's supposed to be the city's colors and an homage to the Swedish heritage of who settled Philadelphia at the time. So whatever, I'm over it. Like I look at the city connectors for the Nationals. We saw them with the cherry tree ones.
Sure,
lame. But I understand the point of it. It's growing on me a little bit more, but I will not be wearing that jersey.
I won't be wearing that jersey. I might get a jersey.
I might get a hat. That's about as far as I'm going to go with that.
I'm getting a hat. I know I'm getting a hat.
Do they sell jerseys for that?
I haven't seen any yet.
Okay.
I haven't bought a hat yet because I mean, I could be down the ballpark 5 times in the next 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I know I can walk right into the team store and buy one.
Yeah. I'll probably buy a hat because I just like collecting them anyway.
Sure.
I collect all the postseason hats and everything. So
I don't think I do. It does bother me that it says Philly in the back of the hat too.
Yeah.
I guess it depends on if you get the snapback or the
it's
fitted
like
or flex.
It's again not a big fan of them. They're not as annoying to me as they were before. But the only way I think I would like them is if they always win with. Is one of those jerseys they always win with. Unless they start losing with them, then I'll have them burn them down.
I think if the font, I think if it said Philadelphia in that font and it wasn't as in your face, I think I would like it a lot more.
I keep saying the font reminds me. Remember those S's people used to draw on their textbooks?
Yeah, good point.
It's like that's what it looks like to me. Like I don't know. I just feel like they're gonna want a different thing. It's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
When they released them last Friday, they had like a little block party. There was people down there booing it.
Oh my god!
It was.
Oh my god! We have to talk about this. And with that caption, the Phillies saying shaking things up a bit, and then minutes later there was an earthquake in our area.
Did it come out before or after?
No, I think it came out like minutes before.
Okay. I wasn't sure exactly on the timing of the earthquake because here's the funny thing.
Well, you and I were on the phone.
We were on the phone with each other, and we're only a couple miles apart. I was still in Delco. I was in Eddystone, for any of those who are not familiar, which is right off of 95, not too far from the airport.
Yeah, 2 minutes from Philly.
Yeah, and you were in Drexel Hill, which is about 10, 12 minutes away.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, what the hell? My house just shook.
I was like, I got to go. My house shaking.
I was like, your wife's a lucky woman. Like, I was just making a joke, not know what's going on.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then I'm getting the messages. And then the TV in my office is on talking about earthquake hit New Jersey and all this. I'm like, the hell? How did I not feel this?
I know. I know the building you're in. I mean, it's pretty big and
I'm
sturdy.
on the bottom floor, so I don't know if that helps or not.
But I mean, it's almost like with people who are driving, they don't feel it either because they're constantly moving.
But if you remember, this happened about 10, 12 years ago.
What, the earthquake?
Yeah, we had a little earthquake in the area.
2017.
Yeah. So I was in the same area. I was in a different building for my office down in Ridley Park at the time, but I was in that AT&T store in front of my office currently.
Okay.
I start getting calls from the girls from my office because they knew I was down there, and they said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Depends on who you talk to." They're like, "No, seriously, are you okay?" I'm like, "Why wouldn't I be okay? Like, did you just feel that earthquake?" Did not feel that.
Yeah, I felt that one.
The Walmart in the same parking lot had shit falling off its shelf.
Wow.
Yet somehow 50, 75 feet away, didn't feel it. Not a phone fell off a shelf. Like,
it's pretty wild that we've survived 2 earthquakes in this area. You have not felt a single one of them.
No. I thought maybe
I have felt both, and I've been in 2 different areas, like 20 minutes apart from each other. But the coincidence of that caption it's mind blowing. And then there's this.
There's this. Joe loves it, except for he likes the hat. That's all he says.
I love the hat.
But it does look like Brisk is the new It almost
Spritz, baby.
even the font kind of looks alike.
A little bit.
I mean, not exactly, but kind of looks
I
alike.
get it.
Yeah. All right. Let's
That's some good photoshopping, fans.
and speaking of Phillies, by the way, as you know, Fighting's Final has a new sponsor, the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar, 5400 Fern Boulevard in Drexel, PA, the Holiday Inn and Suites at the Drexel Book Event Center. Yes, I get out of breath when I do that promo. It's a mouthful, but it's good because the place is great, the food's great, outside bar with the TV, it's amazing. Now the weather's getting better. It was a little cool, but it ended up being a nice warm day. We were just there on Sunday. What a great time. What a great place to be at. We're going back, Joe, May 11th. We're going back.
That is right.
Which is a Saturday this time. And it's the Saturday before Mother's Day. So I know a lot of people that are actually coming because the wives are going out to have a brunch and everything because it's at around 2:30, 3 o'clock start. And then the game's at 4:05 or whatever it is. And then, it's a great place to have a great brunch because they're not brunches Saturday and Sunday. It was started last week.
Okay.
So we were actually able to try it and try some of the great options they have there.
Heard the food was great.
Phenomenal. Had a great time. I mean, yes, of course, the gobbler will tell you the food's great, but then again, I think I gave him the plastic fruit out of the bowl in my house, and he would think it's great. So we can always go by him. But
Do we know the hosts of that one yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. I'm pretty sure I'll be one of them, but I'm not exactly sure yet. We'll put that out there at one point. But we are going to shift gears to who we probably thought at one point, Joe, dead in the water. You're 76ers. Like we could have thought, like maybe, just maybe there wasn't much left. Maybe there is something left, Joe. Is it crazy? I know I was on the. I'm not going to sit here and retreat in anything I say. I said at one point I think they were crazy for putting him in there because of the possibility of getting hurt, but. Are you ready to get your heart broken? Like I think Marshawn said earlier.
Am I ready to get my heart broken? Well, I can say this honestly that kind of with the big lull during the regular season and them just the question mark of even should they even be in a play-in or whatever. I don't think that my heart will fully be into it because I feel like it's going to take some time to if they get through the first round. And they're going up against somebody who they can, beat in the second round. Like the second round will always be in the back of my mind until they get over that hump.
Well,
I will say this about the play-in. I'm fine with them being in the play-in because I actually think it gives them more. I think it gives Embiid more games to knock the rust. I know it's splitting hairs with that with a play-in and then the playoff starting. But I just feel like the extra game or so. I think that will only help Embiid going into the playoffs instead of having to sit for however long it is, 4 or 5 days or whatever.
Bruce Harper wants to know: do you feel Embiid can lead the Sixers?
Is that Bryce? Is that Bryce's brother?
Yeah, it's his other brother, Bruce. Do you feel Embiid can lead the Sixers to the championship?
I do. I really do.
Do you believe it's this year, or do you believe in general? That's my next kind of follow up to Bruce's question here.
I think more so this year than any because I think the supporting cast is actually there.
Definitely the best bench depth they have. And listen,
100%.
Anthony Melton back the other day was big. I didn't think he was coming back.
I didn't think he was either.
I know Roko's the only one who's still MIA.
Sayonara.
I wish I was Bryce's brother or cousin or any kind of relative. But I was on the record saying I feel that the Sixers could be taking a bit of a risk for this. And I'm not saying that they couldn't win it at all, but I mean, can I just say right now, I could be wrong right down later, but just the way they're playing and the thing about him and Maxey, man, the way they play together, it's
Batman and Robin.
I saw the percentage. They have a better win percentage together than any other team in the NBA. When they play together, their winning percentage is pretty awesome.
But is that only this season, or does that go back to last season as well?
I think it's this season.
Because that's kind of not a fair comparison when you have other duos who played a lot more games together.
Well, true. But let me ask you this question. So it's all about the stars aligning. Things have to align sometimes for us. I mean, again, I go back to the 2017 Eagles. That wasn't a year we were all sitting on, Super Bowl or bust. No. These guys are we all have expectations of them winning as well. We all thought that was going to be the stepping stone towards a Super Bowl run. ends up being the big one. Even losing
Yeah, but
key
once
factors.
once they go on that run of 13-3 or whatever it was before Wentz, gets hurt, like once you get to that point, you're
Oh,
thinking
when
Super
you
Bowl or
hit that
bust.
I think when they hit
Yeah,
that 10 and that 10 and was it 10-1 or 10-2 marker at that point, I was like, you had to start thinking about it.
yeah,
And I remember being in LA
have to.
going home and
Yeah, you were at the game. Yeah,
I was like, ugh, there you go for thinking that. It's like
yeah. We may not have gone into that season thinking Super Bowl or bust, but your mind goes there at a
but
certain point.
things
But
have to align for it
sure,
to happen, right? So, I mean, I don't ever wish injury on anybody, but Doc Rivers is just destroying the Bucks right
he is.
now, which is great.
That's amazing.
Yeah, our inside guy, Glenn Rivers.
That's amazing.
But can I mean lining up with that, like getting them first round is either he can't play or he has to play a very unhealthy version of himself in the Greek freak and Giannis versus
He left the game last night too, didn't he?
well, they thought he might have torn his Achilles,
Oh wow.
but ended up not being torn. But he's probably going to be out for at least a couple weeks, which is
Ooh.
I mean,
So he'll have the rust in the second round.
that's my point. Like, talk about lining. If you can get that second, that I guess that would be the 7th seed.
Dame's been hurt too. I think he just returned the other night.
And let's be honest, love Dame to death, but we don't know what he can do in the playoffs.
It's true.
He's used to being like having his bags packed and going home by now.
That's true. That's
I mean, no offense, but he just played for a crap team for a long time. Um, you know, the Heat are a good team, but when Embiid and all them are healthy, they can beat them.
100%.
The Knicks don't have I'm completely blanking on his name. They just lost him to shoulder surgery for the year.
I didn't hear this, so I don't know.
Oh my God.
I could just start saying names. I know it's
yeah.
not Jalen Brunson. Is it
No.
Josh Hart?
No.
Julius Randle? Okay, Julius Randle.
I think that was it, right? Yeah. Yeah. Now you're making me say yes.
I don't know. I didn't hear the news, so I'm totally guessing. I'm guessing that it's not DiVincenzo because
No.
that's not making headlines.
No. No.
No ex Villanova. Jalen Brunson, an injury to him would make headlines. What am I saying? He's dropping like 50 and 60 in games. What a player that kid has turned out to be.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what stinks is like you basically have a Knicks team. Half the roster is former Villanova players, and I watched Villanova during that run, and went to the games, and I still like these kids. Like I still think
Mikal Bridges on this team.
Oh my god.
They should make that
100%.
happen in the offseason.
But what I'm saying is, like with the Knicks, like I can't hate the Knicks because I like half their players.
Oh, I can hate anybody who's not on my team.
I mean, I get that, but if I'm being realistic, I can sit here.
I could hate on.
I could tell you I hate them, but
Look at the Eagles' new running back. I could hate on him until he became an Eagles running back again. So I mean, like, that's I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I didn't hate him either.
I didn't hate him, but I didn't like him.
I just didn't want him to play well against us. That's it.
So they lost one of their key players.
Yeah, it's big.
So I mean, being healthy at the right time is sometimes the best. So
I know.
There is hope for this team, and I hate that. I know it's terrible.
Do you hate it because it's going against everything that you said that they should do?
Oh no, you know me, Joe. I don't care about being right. I'd rather win championships.
Oh, I would hope so.
I am still nervous that he might hurt himself more.
I hope
I'm dead wrong.
You know what? It kind of sucks the way that everything played out because I was loving this team. I loved Oubre.
I know.
I loved. Of course, I loved Melton and who else am I thinking? Oh, Batum. Like I love these guys. I love the supporting cast around Joel Embiid.
Maxey's made.
Oh my god! Of course. I mean, Maxey's one of my favorites since he was drafted. I wanted them at 21. I'm screaming at the TV. Draft Tyrese Maxey, and they did, and it was great.
I think the only one that anybody doesn't love right now would be Tobias Harris.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. But you know what you're getting with Tobias, and I was loving this team. And then, Embiid goes out, and I lost touch with the team. Like it was tough for me to
it was bad.
be ready to sit down, put the kids to bed, sit down, watch the game. I would keep track of it on my phone. I would watch it when I was able to sit down and do whatever. I would watch. No, not at all. I would watch it when we were here doing a show and stuff like that. And it kind of sucks that now I'm only getting back into those players who I really liked around Embiid because Embiid's back.
Yeah.
When really, I mean, for that stretch, and I'll just say it, for that stretch, I was a fair weather fan. Like I was not supporting the guys that were continuously going out there and busting their tails to try and put up some W's for us, the fans. And now Joel's back, the Batman to everybody, and I'm back in, but I still had that thought in the back of my head of, hey, like we'll see what happens when it comes playoff time, but I don't know how far I'm going to jump in, and unless it's the Eastern Conference Finals.
Listen, I think everybody's going to go into this like a girl who's dating for the first time after getting her heart broken. You know what I mean?
I have
Like,
my guard up. I
yeah,
guess
my
that's what I'm
guard's up.
saying.
I'm not going to let myself get too attached right away. I'm gonna feel this out and see how it plays out. And I think it's a healthy way of taking it. Because listen, if let's devil's advocate for a moment. Sam Pete never gets hurt. So he just was typical year, having a great year, winning games, and top three team, one of the top three teams in the East. And what's the first thing that think in your back of your head going into this season?
When's the other shoe going to drop and he gets hurt before the playoffs?
Yeah, or when do they get who are they gonna get knocked out by in the second round? Like that's
I'm waiting for a third orbital or I'm not even gonna say it.
Yeah.
Orbital fracture.
Listen, man, if that happens again, woo!
The freak accidents this guy has been through. It's
7 foot tall
unbelievable.
monster who has the weakest orbital bones in the world. Like, how does anybody hit him in the face? Like, this guy's 7 feet tall. He's taller than most people out there.
That's true.
How does he get hit in the face? Is he walking into chandeliers or something?
Oh, I mean, people jump. Hands go a flailing, coming down.
Franny chimed in. He was
What's up,
busy
dude?
watching girls hoops. By the way, dude, how about that?
Yeah. Dawn Staley. By the way, real fast. Franny, congratulations on your trip out to Texas with your dad and Kai for the All American game. You guys absolutely smoked the West.
Well, that's awesome.
Me and my wife Lex were watching. So congratulations to all you guys on that. That's really cool.
Yeah, and how about the fact that they outperformed the men's on views?
That doesn't surprise me, to
Does
be
it?
honest with
I
you.
think it's very much surprising.
But one of the things you have to think of is I'm taking Caitlin Clark out of this situation. Number one, South Carolina.
Wait a minute, how do you take her out of that situation?
I'm just saying, like for the viewership, you had South Carolina who was undefeated, and they were going for their third with Dawn Staley. Of course, the Philadelphia area is going to be watching that, and then yes, you have Caitlin Clark. But I think it being on a Sunday at 3 p.m., I think that actually kind of did wonders for it because you had the men's on a Monday night. The game didn't start till 9:30. I mean, I think that takes a lot of viewership away.
Yeah, that's really awesome, Fran. He said thanks. It was a fun time.
But yeah, I watched both, and yeah, we loved the girls' championship. I won money on both. I mean,
I'll be honest with you, Joe. I really was not into March Madness this year. We've been so busy with.
I won my bracket.
Good for you, man. Because dude, I've not won a bracket in 7 years, 5 or 6, 7 years.
I didn't get too cute this year. I always thought,
Well,
I try and be the smartest person.
listen,
I didn't do that this
I
year.
remember me and you all the way back to like early high school, and we would like sit down and fill out the brackets in the newspaper. Remember?
Yeah.
And we put a lot of research into that. And I remember we
Too much.
start watching a bunch. Like I just have no time to watch college basketball anymore, and I love college basketball. Even like
I went
smaller
into this one
colleges.
pretty blind.
Yeah, like maybe that was better.
Yeah. Oh,
It was
100%.
probably better. Like I like the name of their
No
team.
Philly team, so I
like
didn't have
the color
to be
of
a
their
homer.
jersey. I'm gonna
Well, I know more than that.
Yeah,
but
I'm just kidding. But it's funny because
girls' game was good.
I know Marshawn was laughing. He said, "Stop being a fair weather fan." But come on, Marshawn, we've all been hurt.
I admitted it. I was a fair weather fan of the Sixers a majority of the season.
Listen, there's a lot of sports we have to watch. Plus, we are, like I said, there's a lot of new things coming out here at EoP. For those who have not seen the social media post, we have a new morning show joining us. Marshawn, I know he had a funny joke. He got me good. We were doing the post game show at the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar, and he goes, "Hey Al, I see Howie Roseman's not the only GM making moves here in Philadelphia." And I was like, he got me good on that one. Yeah, so it's like I can only watch so much stuff. Like last night, I took a picture. I tweeted it out. I had the iPad, I had the small TV, and I had the big TV all going. I turned my eyes away from the Flyers pretty quickly when it became like,
9 goals. Oh
dude,
god.
I I kid you not. Like my wife's sitting next to the TV with the Phillies game on, and
Mhm.
I'm looking at the game and I'm talking to her, and like like some dust flew in my eye, and I look over and as I look over, it's 5-1. I go like this, and it just turned 5-1. I'm like, and I go like this, I look back, it's 6-1. Like, what the hell?
Yeah,
I thought it was like the
I didn't
Matrix
even
for a
watch.
second. I thought I made like some glitch in the Matrix there. I'm like, what the hell just happened?
I mean, when they've lost 6 or 7 in a row, it's hard for you to jump back on the Flyers train as well.
Sending our top scouts to get Phil. We were looking at our top scouts. I hate to bring us in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Marshawn, you were looking at them. Couldn't name a player on UConn right now. Gun to the head, and I watched the whole game. Super impressive team, but didn't know any of these guys. Let me ask you a question because and I know we're
I was
jumping
so
around.
worried.
What?
Watching the UConn game, yeah, that big goon Edie, I want to say his name,
Yeah,
or his
Edie.
Endy, whatever the hell
Edie.
it was.
Mhm.
I mean, that guy started unstoppable. The first half, I was sitting there like biting my nails, like, oh, I don't know how this is going to turn out. Then the second half starts, and they blow the the bones off them.
Oh. Let me ask you this question: is it the fact that things are different in college basketball now that has made it maybe a little bit more interesting to watch? There's a little bit more of a crapshoot, a little bit more of a challenge, or it's not usually just blowout teams all the time.
Uh, I think there was a lot more teams that you could have seen
Mhm.
make it into at least the Final Four
Yeah.
opposed to other years. In fact, it was kind of funny. Like the bracket that I won, I had UConn winning, and Lex had Purdue.
Who was the darling team this year? That's
NC State.
NC State.
Yeah.
What was it? What last year was that? St. Mary's or something? It was
Oh, and they never. No team that was you know a Cinderella story made
yeah,
it to the Final Four like NC State did
yeah.
this year. But Lex had Purdue. I had UConn. So it
Okay,
was me or her winning. So that was pretty cool. We had a household of a winner regardless.
yeah.
But yeah, I think it's awesome what women's sports, especially with basketball, has done this season. And of course, it takes a Kate and Clark, and there's Angel Reese was last year, and I think or Caitlin Clark last year, of course. And there's going to be those stories every year, maybe not to the magnitude that it was with Clark this year. But I think it's just going to continue to get bigger and bigger. There's
Well,
more eyes on it, obviously.
I think she's kind of going to be that catalyst for women. Like,
Yeah, and I
do you
will
think
say,
going to the WNBA, hopefully she'd be able to do something? Because
I don't. There's been people in the WNBA coming out saying stuff like, "Hey, like, yeah, you're the big fish now, but
yeah,
you're going to be entering a league that there's going to be bigger, stronger, and more experienced players. So
they were all the big fish at one point
yeah,
too.
yeah, kind of like humble yourself a bit, for what you're about to get
Uh-uh.
yourself into."
Nah, live it. Like, because here's my thing: is like superstars are usually like St. Peter's. That's right. I couldn't remember what the name was. Um, don't humble yourself. Listen, don't be an a hole. But unfortunately, not unfortunately, but part of the being a superstar, like a guy who's born and bred, like Bryce Harper,
Sure.
he's got a little swagger to him. He's a little cocky. It's okay. Don't- Like
He was drafted
they
at like
were
age
all
12.
like, I mean, listen, not all like, but they were all Caitlin Clark esque type players, top players in women's basketball in college. Not all of them, but a good amount of them. Who
She broke a lot of records this
that's my
year.
point is like, why should she have to humble herself? They were all in her book, her or lesser, should I
Yeah.
say, at one point, top in their team, top in the tournament, but she's out there breaking records. Why should she be humbled?
Yeah,
Enough that noise.
She didn't
Live
she
it up.
didn't only break the scoring record for the women's.
Yeah.
She broke the scoring record for the NCAA.
Yeah.
I mean, that's impressive. And you got to give kudos to Dawn Staley because in her moment, her time to shine, she is sitting there and giving praise to Caitlin Clark. It's a tongue twister for me. Caitlin
Correct.
Clark on the just the accolades and the the eyes that she put towards the sport this past season.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great. I think that's awesome.
And you know what? I kind of hope her going there with all the eyes that she brought to there brings it to the WNBA. I watched a couple games of them. They're
It's
not
it's always on in my household.
it's not a bad product.
No, not at
I
all.
just think people just
Not at
don't think
all.
about giving it. The problem is I was talking about this with somebody like,
I'm sorry, the NCAA women's
yeah,
is much better
oh,
than
oh,
the
dude,
WNBA.
for a while, I would have told you that NCAA men's basketball was better at times for me. There was like, don't get me wrong, there were some players that just always better, like when Kobe and all them, were
Sure.
playing. But like, there's times I would rather watch, you know, the NCAA basketball, especially when the Sixers were terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Like for the longest time, I doubt it goes to WNBA. I mean, Fran, you're probably right. It's sad, but like, I take for instance, like now that what's it, the UFL or whatever, not
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
XFL to USFL combination. I think what they do wrong is the timing. Really is what they do wrong. Not be a spring league. You know what they should be? A summer league. And I'll tell you why. This is my thought process. And maybe I'm completely off base here. But
Is it really that much of a difference, though, between a spring and a summer league?
100%. And I'll tell you why. Think about it right now, Joe. 2 busiest months at EoP. October and April, right?
Sure.
In October, you got all 4 sports going.
Sure.
April, you got 3 of the 4 sports, 2 entering the playoffs, hopefully, and the draft, which is just cumbersome. But after that, you got May, which is pretty much, OTAs and Phillies.
Yeah, but you have NBA, Stanley Cup playoffs, baseball.
Yeah.
Until like June. Until like late June.
Agreed. Agreed. But my point is, not every city, every team is in the playoffs in June. There are about 4 teams left.
Yeah,
in
but the UFL has like 8 teams out of 52 states, and nobody's connecting with those teams either. So I don't think it matters if it's 8 teams playing in spring or 8 teams playing in summer. They're just set for failure. They got to expand the league.
I like I said, it's not a perfect idea, but my point to it is there's a devoid of football at that point. The draft's over. There's nothing new. You're pretty much really looking, and we all know how preseason football is just snort fest.
Sure.
Like, I mean, you check in to see if the team has a darling player that you want to see that maybe makes the team. But other than that, like, it's really not exciting at all. So you go through May, June, July, be done before the NFL starts. I at that point I have no football. I just got done watching football. I got the draft. I got first. You don't even have the draft. You have
Combine.
Combine that leads into.
How many times have we said the NFL is really a year-long sport, though?
Yeah, but if you want to find,
there's always something.
If you want to find a gap in the NFL, the biggest gap would be that May to July, August.
I think it's February. Like after the Super Bowl, there's really nothing until mid-March.
Well, think about
it. So it's really only a month off if you really look at it.
It's only a month from the Super Bowl to the start of the new season.
Right.
And,
mid-March.
And free agency.
Right.
So it's 1 month, and the Combine's before that. You're already looking at the draft. People, if your team's not doing well, you look at the draft in December. I mean,
it's true.
That's my point. Is like it's all draft, combine, free agency. Who's going where?
Right.
Here.
So there's no real
but after
lull
that,
when it comes to the NFL.
The only thing you're looking for from after the draft is the start of the season.
Do you realize that your argument right now is that the UFL should be in the summer instead of the spring?
Yes.
That's what you're going to bat for right now.
I'm just
saying that the NFL isn't giving you enough.
No, I'm just saying that's the only time I would want to watch. I would care about watching any other football at that point. That's just my.
I really don't think you would be watching the UFL whether it's summer or spring, especially since they don't have a Philadelphia team.
Brandy's saying city to city. Venus is like.
I don't think you saw his comment before that.
Okay. My idea, they run WNBA like Globetrotters, traveling show, need all the best players together. But
well, funny enough, Caitlin Clark actually was reached out to by Ice Cube about joining the Big Three, which is combining some of the best players, and it's a traveling show.
Yeah.
So maybe he just combined it all.
So with the Big Three, because I really never sat down and paid attention, to be honest with you.
It would be better if they played it in the summer than the spring. That's why they don't get any traction.
No, I'm asking the question, like, they travel, but there's other teams that play each other, right?
I haven't dove too much into it.
Because like that's my thing is I think that the Globetrotters is a show.
It's only like a half court game
Yeah.
too.
But I'm saying the Globetrotters is a show. It's not the whole point of the
Right, right.
sports is that the competition end of it, and then to have your team that your city's team. And I think any team, any city that takes a team from Philadelphia is just silly. Like the Stars not being on that USL that was stupid. Like you have
Yeah.
one of the original teams and you don't bring them on there.
And you know what's wild is like before everything got shut down, the Stars were in the championship. So I don't know why you wouldn't bring back a team that was in the championship.
So yeah, he's saying yes. No, I would keep the WNBA teams just travel together. So let a team, two teams, maybe not none of them from Philly, but they play in Philly. Is that what you're saying, Fran? Like, is that what I'm understanding? Like, yeah, Philadelphia will have a game played in there, but it's two of the best teams from wherever.
Right.
Okay. I mean, I don't know if I'd go out.
I mean, I get it. It's a good concept.
Yeah. I would like the Premier Lacrosse League. It would be like the Premier Lacrosse League. Is that what they do? Okay. I do not know that. But you know what, guys? Sometimes stuff happens in life, and you need a good lawyer. And the best lawyer you know is David R. Cherry. At cherryinjurylaw.com, go to workers' comp, motor vehicle, personal injury, criminal law. Dave Cherry is the man with the plan. Call him at 610-565-0300, cherryinjurylaw.com. Workers' comp, motor vehicle, personal injury, criminal law. You call Dave Cherry at 610-565-0300, or you go to cherryinjurylaw.com for all your legal needs. And real quick, I remind you that Dolan's Bar, 24 East Sellers Avenue, the May 25th is a Saturday. Wiffle Ball Mania is back, Joe, and that means EoP is back at Dolan's. And the man himself, Mickey Morandini's back. He's bringing a new friend this time. That's right. John Kruk will be joining Dolan's Wiffle Ball Mania Saturday, May 25th. There's more details coming out right now. That's all I can give you. EoP will be there. We're talking to Mickey, talking to John, and everybody else in between, and broadcasting the games and seeing how else we can get involved. But
I think Crooky's going to be getting some pointers from
EoP.
for when he's going to take back to the broadcast booth.
I don't know how there's more crazy stuff that comes out of his mouth, us or him.
Yeah.
I'm like one time, like I'm waiting for yeah, I got canceled, guys. Like he makes me laugh. But
yeah, he's awesome.
Let's change gears for a moment here.
They suck.
Oh,
sorry.
I was going to say, do you want to go fly?
Oh, that's right. Eagles, yeah.
I was going to say,
we can go Eagles.
I can go Eagles. All right. So, your Philadelphia Eagles are really a couple less. Tomorrow's 2 weeks to the day, right? 2 weeks to the draft. Which guys, stay tuned to EoPSports.com and everything else and all our social media. Plenty of draft stuff coming out between now and then. Also, go to EoPSports.com, click on the draft link. Their big board's up. The boys of EoP here put up the big board, and it is extensive and well thought out. So check it out. I want you guys to check it out and tell us what you think.
I have heard that Howie Roseman has requested a copy of it.
He's gonna have to talk to my lawyer. No, just kidding. It's on this. He can just go on our website.
We're just kidding, Howie. We'll get it to you.
EoPSports.com and click on the NFL draft link. It's right there below it. And all the videos about the draft. They just did one the other day on the top 5 or 6 tight ends of the draft. You guys can check out. But Joe, this was their big board from the other night. It's probably gonna be hard to see on this screen, but I will see if I can blow it up a little bit more.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Maybe I should put it on here so I can see it better.
I'm glad you used this one too, because as I was reading it, just counting how many secondary players they have on there boggles my mind.
Yep.
The Eagles literally have 12 secondary players under contract. I don't understand how anyone thinks that they're going to go even just no. They're not going corner at 22.
So we're all right. Joey Roseman, Howie Sheeran, whatever you want to call yourself.
Okay.
Where do you go? Where are you going? Not player, just position. Where are you looking at?
I'm going offensive line.
You're going trenches, O-line.
Offensive line, yeah. You have such a question mark when it comes to your right guard. Like, I don't know. I think if Tyler Steen was the possibility at the starting guard, I think we would have heard about it.
Yeah, I feel like it's been awfully quiet on that.
It's been very quiet.
And even like when people are, I guess they really haven't asked him much. But
Nick Sirianni, after Jeffrey Lurie's end of year. I'm sorry. I know I keep interrupting you. When Howie after Jeffrey Lurie had his exit interview for the season, Nick Sirianni was straight up asked about Cam Jurgens being the center. Can you officially say that he's going to be your starting center going into next year? He said no, and I'm paraphrasing. He said no, I can't do that. I have plenty of time to figure all that out. I'm telling you right now, I think if Cam Jurgens was a lock to be the center, I think he would have said it. I really do. So it blows my mind that
I don't know if I
there's
agree
a
with that. I don't know if I 100% agree with that
well,
because
Jason Kelsey retired.
yes,
Who else is going to be your starting center if it's not Cam Jurgens? Why
I
wouldn't
just
you?
don't think they would come out and say it straight out. That's all. I just don't
What's the harm in doing that though?
because he's not established yet. Because maybe
Exactly.
there's no 100%, but I'm not saying. I'm just saying I think he has the highest percentage chance of being. Do you think they go for like was it Jackson Powers Johnson?
I would not be surprised. And again, it's because yes, they drafted Landon Dickerson 3 years ago.
In the second round?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Okay. The only difference is, yeah, Cam and Dickerson was drafted in the second, and I'm saying JPJ could be drafted at 22. Who's to say that they don't drop back to the mid 20s
Honestly,
for
I think he
another
goes-
third or
I think he goes
fourth, and they
before.
grab him? I think he does too.
I think he goes before.
I think he does too.
There's too many teams. Like I can see a team like the Giants, or depending on what they end up doing with Daniel Jones and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But I can see a team who has either just got their quote unquote franchise quarterback, or in the last year or two, and they need a stout center to
Sure.
take over. I can see him going before that.
Right, but what I'm saying is that it's not out of the realm that they would draft the top center because they've already drafted 2 centers to be Jason Kelsey's replacement, and both of them have started on the offensive line at different positions. If you slide Cam Jurgens into center, then you have 2 positions affected. You know, like you get what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
like it wouldn't blow my mind if Cam Jurgens stays at right guard and then they bring in a JPJ to start at center. Because what's the harm of doing it? Because if he doesn't, you can always slide Cam Jurgens and then possibly put JPJ at right guard. Because again, it's Statland U, baby.
I know. Listen, we feel like things are almost automatic with Statland, but we got to understand. Like Tyler, here's my thing: is Tyler Steen was what, a third rounder?
Yes.
Yeah. So doesn't mean they will have to use him.
Correct. But they
Because-
also Driscoll just left.
Mhm.
Opeta just left.
Yeah.
They need
depth,
depth
you know.
at O line.
But it wouldn't be weird. It wouldn't be weird of them to go 4th, 5th, and 6th round. I mean, the hell.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. I mean, you look at Jason or Jordan Maillotti. He was a 7th rounder. He never played a lick of football before he came here. He was a rugby player.
Playing
And
devil's
now look at-
advocate, they stay pat at 22, right?
Mhm.
JPJ's there.
Yes.
Lot 2. I always say that.
Yeah.
Lot 2.
I mean, but that's also that's trenches. That's
Hold on,
trenches.
Hold on. Lot 2. And Cooper DeJean
I know they like him.
and
I know he just had a fantastic pro day as well.
Kool-Aid, just because I love it.
Kool-Aid McKinley.
Are available.
It's McKinley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
McKinstry.
Okay.
McKinstry. All 4 of those are available at 22, and they're staying
Mhm.
pat. Who do you think they most likely go with?
I really think that they go JPJ.
Okay.
But again, hear me out. When you talk about the defensive backs on this team, and even if I'm just taking Bradbury, who I really think will be with the team next season, if I'm taking him and I'm taking Slay out, let me just rattle off these names. You got Eli Ricks, Josh Jobe,
Mhm.
Keely Ringo, who they traded a 4th rounder this year for.
Mhm.
You have Isaiah Rogers, who's coming back from suspension.
Mhm.
You just signed Avonte Maddox.
Mhm.
You have Zach McPherson, who's coming back from injury.
Mhm.
You just signed CJ GJ, who is either going to play slot nickel or safety.
Mhm.
You have players outside of your starting corners of Slay and Bradbury
Mhm.
that you have depth there.
Yeah.
There's not a chance they're going 22 at cornerback.
What about their first, second round pick?
I wouldn't even say I'm telling you right now, I think that they're
You
in
think
the
the first
first
2 are trenches?
I think the first 3 are.
Possibly. I would.
I really do.
I wouldn't be surprised if one of these wide receivers kind of dropped.
I think they go guard,
late, too.
tackle, and a defensive lineman.
I really thought they would go for the right right guard in this case.
But you have to think, like, when's the opportunity you're going to have 3 picks in the first 53, and Lane is coming up in 26, and he already kind of said he's done after that. So why are you not going to get the top tackle right now in the first or second round?
I think it's more the tackle option than the center option.
Oh
Personally.
no! Oh yeah! Don't get me wrong. If
Yeah.
if Cam, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying, alluding to the Cam Jurgens thing.
Yeah.
Like, why not just say that he's going to be the starting center, and then you can focus on guard and tackle. Like,
And
I think if
I
you
think
can
also
get,
not saying it is part of the.
but
like,
if you
we're not
can,
gonna tell
if you can get, and again, Tyler Steen, I know he was drafted in the 3rd round, but you also lost Jack Driscoll and you lost Opeta. So who's to say that Tyler Steen doesn't become one of them in being a versatile plug and play if God forbid somebody goes down, a depth piece.
Yeah.
So I think the best move right now is you get a starting guard and then you get a starting tackle that's going to replace Lane Johnson in the next year or 2. Like, wouldn't you rather have Lane Johnson and his replacement for the next 2 seasons so he can learn from him?
That depending, especially if he's a big boy. I mean, I love
100%.
To see,
and this is a really, really good draft class for offensive linemen.
I know, and it's deep.
Yeah,
too. That's what makes it.
I mean, and don't get me wrong. If the Eagles didn't have this plethora of corners, you could look at that position as this draft being one of the deepest there as well. But you don't. It's not a need right now. It's not a need really for probably years to come.
I mean,
Jared Verse would be nice at 22.
Their O-line, they're known to get guys to let them sit for a year or 2 now.
100%.
I mean, like they did it with Cam. They did it.
They got 22,
now with Tyler
50,
Steen.
and 53.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge. That's huge.
I would not be surprised if they did drop back. Stayed in the first round.
Sure.
But drop back a few extra spots and maybe get a 2nd round or an early 3rd round.
I don't think you get a 2nd round. You probably get a late 3rd.
Yeah. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised in early 3rd. If somebody really needs to jump up.
Well, I mean,
how about like a team that's out of the first round and they want to jump in with needs?
I don't see them jumping out of the first round because I think if it's a difference maker that they're looking for in the first round, you want that 5th-year option.
Yeah, I just can't see them not taking an edge rusher, to be honest with you. That's where I think they're also
I get it.
They're very thin.
I wouldn't be surprised.
They're very thin on that outside of and older too in some guys. You don't know what Nolan's going to be. You don't know what you just got Bryce Huff. Hopefully he turns out to be everything we hope he is.
Sure.
You don't have Hassan Reddick anymore. You kind of use Sweat in that quasi tackle and edge rusher type position, but that's not really.
Another thing you have to look at here when you're thinking of 22 and the defensive side of the ball is you don't know what they're running. You don't know if it's going to be 3-4, 4-3 hybrid. You have no idea because you look at somebody like a Jordan Davis, who is a natural nose tackle. I mean, that his natural scheme is a 3-4. And if you look at the way that they treated the whole Hassan Reddick thing, they didn't like him back in coverage. That screams 3-4 as well. So they're going to want to get a lot better in the linebacker position.
All right,
you're not going to have as many edge rushers out there when you're playing a different scheme.
I know everybody's high on Chop Robinson, but I just don't see them taking.
He's not going in the first,
and I think he goes late 2nd.
No.
I don't know. I just his size and everything is
Penn State boy.
I
all about it.
Love him, but I just don't. I think people are higher on him because of that reason, because he's a Penn State boy, and I don't know.
I don't feel like the Eagles do great when it comes to, and I shouldn't say that because now they just signed Saquon, but when it comes to drafting Penn Staters, I don't think they have a really good track.
Well, they didn't draft him. I remember they signed him.
Right. Yeah, it's true.
There's another.
I remember like Sharif Miller.
I was like, come here.
I was gaga when they. Yeah, look at that name. I ain't touching that one.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Fashanu.
I was like, well,
I'm not going to try to.
I was looking at the whole thing, but
Smith. I mean, how about? Would you take another Penn Stater from another?
I'm not even
divisional rival.
Another Penn Stater from a divisional rival. Oh, Michael Parsons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah, of course.
Would you trade the 22?
100%.
And
100%.
And a 3rd round pick?
Well, we don't have one.
Okay.
They traded that. They
swapped
right,
a late 2nd round pick.
They don't have that.
I thought they have 2 second rounds.
Yeah, but at 50 and 53.
I guess the later one. I guess I was not the late one.
53. No. No, 22 and 53. No,
Well,
not at all.
maybe what you do is you trade.
No, because
maybe
no.
you trade that second round pick back, get yourself another pick and a third.
But here's the
Pick up
problem.
a third out of the deal, and then like, hey, here you go.
Here's the problem. What year was he drafted? Actually, I won't even say that. He was drafted two positions behind Devontae Smith. They're talking Devontae Smith extension right now.
Yeah.
So if you're giving up 22 and 53 for Micah, you have to pay him as well.
Yeah.
So there's not a chance in hell I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And there's not a chance in hell I'm trading for him and, kind of risking the Devontae Smith extension either.
Yeah. And
would he be a great get? Of course.
Do you believe all the hype about him being a problem?
100%.
Yeah.
What are you, nuts?
I mean, it always seems like he wanted to play.
Yes, I believe he's a problem.
Yeah. So would that be a reason you wouldn't want him?
No. No, I think winning is above all. But yeah, of course he's a problem. What are we talking about here? Michael Parsons, the Cowboy.
All right, Joe. So first 3 picks. I don't want names.
Sure.
I want positions.
Of 22, 50, and 53?
Yeah.
I think they go 2 linemen and a defensive lineman.
Give me the order. First pick.
I mean, if you're going the trend of what they've done with offensive linemen when it comes to Dickerson and Jurgens, you have to say that they go. Yeah, you have to think that the 50-53 is where they go for the offensive line and defensive guy. I mean, you know what? It's not even that. It's probably the smarter option because of the 5th-year option with the defensive player.
I think they go if one of the stud ones are available. Offensive tackle. And either defensive tackle or edge rusher with the 2 second round. You can go either way with that one.
All right. What names stand out to you, though, if that's where you're going? Would you even consider Brock Bowers, knowing that Goddard is
he's going to go early.
He's going to go early as shit.
He's going to be. It's just like what's his face from
Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts. Like, no, I don't see them taking it. Even if he
Pitts went like 5 too.
Yeah, if he fell to 22,
maybe not that high. But
even if he fell to 22, I don't think they take it. Personally,
if he falls to 22 somehow, I don't know how you don't take him. Stacking him up. I mean, again, number one.
I'm not saying I hate it. I just don't see them doing it. Who was the running back last year? Bijan. Remember Bijan?
Yeah.
And we all thought Bijan was coming here.
Yeah. I think that there is a real chance of that still. And the reason I think that is because what's up, dude? What's up, Brian? What's up, guys?
What's up, guy?
I lost my train. Oh, I think because of what we saw in them signing Saquon to a large deal. I think if Bijan was there when they drafted, I think there's a real question mark whether that they were going to go with him or not. They wanted a weapon. They wanted a guy who can catch, run, block.
Yeah,
that's Bijan, but he went very, very early.
Well, like you asked for names. Looking at this list, if I'm sticking on the list, right?
Sure.
If they're available at any one of those spots, most of them, and if I asked you the question, I'll answer it too. The JPJ, if he's available at 22, I can see it.
Yeah,
I can see it happening. But
wouldn't be a bad move either.
No, but like Graham Barton could be a move I could see them doing. I think.
Do you think a Duger?
Yeah,
a Duger goes at 22 in the first.
Not 22. You said it in one of those spots.
Oh, got it. Yeah. Okay.
I can see him for the offensive line aspect of things. Just going off this list here. I just don't think JPJ is going to be available. I just really don't. I'm not going to get my heart sold on it. You know how I love my linemen. Sure. I'm just not going to get my heart sold on it, set on them, and think it's going to happen.
I hate that there's a wide receiver.
If it happens, you'll hear me loud from the studio, Joe.
3 wide receivers. I hate that.
Listen. I would not be surprised with one of those second rounders if they took a wide receiver. I would not be surprised, but I would think it'd be more if they somehow get a third rounder.
But why? But my argument here is you're going to extend Devontae Smith. You have A.J. Brown for at least 2 more years. Why are you going to get a wide receiver to be your third guy in the first round?
I don't think they do the first round.
Okay, that's fair.
I just don't.
But I don't see it in the second. Honestly, I don't even see it in the top. They don't have a third, but I just don't see it at
Like
all.
like Brock Bowers. I don't think he drops there, obviously.
No.
But if he did drop there, I think this board's like things that they would possibly think about. Brock Bowers is probably the only tight end they would have put any thought into, even though they had another one here in Sanders.
The only wide receiver I can see them even thinking about going for in the second round is Xavier Worthy, and that's because of the changes to the return game.
Mm-hmm.
And the dude's shifty, and he's quick, he's got great hands, and you can kind of look at him as like another Deshaun Jackson kind.
Okay.
So if they were to grab him at like 53 for those reasons, I wouldn't hate it. I just really, really have a hard time thinking that they go wide receiver in the second, knowing they don't have a third, and they have O-line and defensive line questions now. Because let's face it, not only about this Hassan Reddick, but you have a major piece in Fletcher Cox and Jason Kelsey retiring. The Jason Kelsey part of it, at least the position at the moment, we think is settled.
Yeah.
But that's opening up a whole hole. A whole hole.
A whole hole.
A whole new hole.
A whole hole.
And what is the most important thing to do in the NFL? Protect your quarterback.
Yeah. Is to clog your holes.
Clog them all.
Clog all your holes.
Every single hole.
Yes. Now, listen. But Howie's also known to go best player available.
Is he, though?
I mean,
He drafted Jalen Reagor at 20 before Justin Jefferson.
all right, recently.
He traded up to get Andre Dillard. He drafted Derek Barnett.
Yeah, recently, I should say. And, looking at the guys he likes, if Dallas Turner was available at 22.
I would have gone Kyle Hamilton over Jordan Davis, I'll say that. And that's another position. That's secondary. That's safety. They don't care much about it.
Yeah, but if you didn't have Jordan Davis, you'd be even thinner there. So you can go both ways with
true.
it. But like Dallas Turner, he's an edge rusher. They love edge rushers.
I know.
He's from Bama. They
love
Bama.
I know.
Like I said, Brock Bowers, even at 22, would be hard for me to believe. But if he fell, they would think about it.
Well, if they're gonna alternate,
I know Cooper DeJean is a name that has constantly of all the analysts out there's big boards. I think he would fit well on this organization.
I wonder if you could throw him in at safety too. Can you imagine having Cooper DeJean and Reed Blankenship as your safeties? I mean, they kind of look alike. Kind of have the same like stature, same like physique.
Okay.
And that's also, I'm saying, if you think about putting DeJean at safety, which I don't know if they would.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I heard. Listen, Byron Murphy has been a guy I hear a lot of, also on big boards with the Birds.
Mm-hmm.
The other one I would say, I hear more or less. I hear a lot of Edgerrin Cooper. It's just I don't believe that. I just don't see them doing that.
Not in the first.
Not in the dude. I don't even think in the second.
I can see them going in the second.
Do you believe? I mean, just because they have two, maybe.
Again, but this is the thing. We don't know what they're running.
Yeah.
If they're going 3-4, they got to get bigger physical linebackers. He could. I mean, they could trade back for him too in the first as well.
How much does Vic Fangio have a say in the draft this year?
I think he has a lot. Because if he's changing it to his way, he needs the personnel.
And it's not going to be a 1-year run with him. That's for sure.
No, not at all. And I mean, you have to there's still question marks with Nakobe Dean. There's hopefully a bounce back in Devin White, which I love the signing.
Yeah, people hated on it. I know he definitely had drop off.
Yeah.
He's not been as great as he was initially. But
because Zach, is it Braun or Braun? Braun, right? Zach Braun?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
No, Braun. It's no R.
It's Baun?
Yeah.
Okay, Zach Braun. What's funny is they have Nakobe Dean, Devin White, I want to say Huff, and Zach Braun, all for under what Hassan Reddick would have made.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing with Zach is are they going to use him more than he's been used as a special teamer?
I don't know what the hell they're going to do with him.
Or is he another guy that Vic knew something about?
And they had that linebacker from the Lions that they signed before anything.
Oh yeah, what's it? Captain Forgettable. What
I forget what his name is too.
it really depends on what they're doing. Are they just are some of these guys not practice squatters, but like camp guys,
Right.
versus guys who actually have a legitimate chance to make the team.
Like, I guess knowing or hopefully knowing what we'll know in Fangio's defense going at least into the draft, like, could I see a guard, an edge, and a linebacker out of those 3? I could see
Yeah.
that.
Honestly, I think depending who's available, if there's a couple guys available, like 4 or 5 guys in a row that they would like, right?
Mhm.
I can see them dropping back 4 or 5 spots to pick up a third round spot.
That'd be great. I'd be on board
And
with that.
then I think that's where they get their line back.
But I'm also under the influence that they're not gonna draft 8 or 9 guys. They don't have 8 or 9 spots.
Well, hold on. So
They especially towards the end, Haley always starts trading shit away.
that's what I'm saying. I would not be surprised if you get a fourth rounder and turns into a next year's third rounder.
Like, I think they have 3 fifths.
Yeah.
So if they
picking,
trade a 4th and 2 fifths to jump
Yeah.
into the 3rd,
yeah,
I mean, I could see that
and
happening.
a couple 7. I mean, who cares about the 7th round pick?
Yeah, nobody cares about 7s.
Just let them have it.
I don't I don't think they've drafted a 7th since Jordan Mailata.
Every time they trade out.
Yeah.
They trade back for something else. But anything else you want to add in on this?
No, I'm good. I don't think there's any possibility they go secondary.
Real quick, I know we ran a little over time. I do want to chat about this real quick with you.
They suck.
For those who don't know who Joe's talking about, your Philadelphia Flyers. What is that, Joe?
They suck.
Yeah. Listen, in all honesty, and
I am being playful.
I'm on the clear the ice tomorrow, so I'll be talking about this more with you guys. But I listen, and I'll give Matty B credit because he's usually not the most rational human being in the world. But he said something to me the other day, and he said, "Listen, if I came to you in July from the future,
Sure.
and said, listen, the Flyers, we know going in at a 4% chance of making the playoffs, and we knew they most likely it was going to be a tank season for them. But if I came to you and said, listen, this team's going to be very relevant up until about the end and possibly fall apart and not make the playoffs, would you sign on for that?"
No, I want a high lottery pick if we were. I mean, at that moment, I'm thinking tank.
No, I got
I'm
you.
saying okay, tank, and I'll want a top 5 pick.
See, I don't believe in that, and I know the Sixers kind of it was all about tanking and all that, but they got plenty of lottery spots already. They have,
but they didn't. They didn't back when that question would have been asked.
No, but we needed to see what we got from some of these young guys.
Sure.
Because by July, at least you knew who you had.
But I also know
drafted.
that those young guys are playing in the beginning of the season and not to expect much.
Yeah, but I mean, personally, I'm unhappy of how I wish they would be able to make it, just to give them some playoff experience. But I'm not unhappy with what did we say? Well, at least I said I want to see progress.
Sure.
And I saw that. So I guess in the long run, I can't be too upset about it.
I'm not too upset about it. I'm not at all. I think it was
I really was hoping to do some playoff games.
Season.
I was hoping to do some playoff games, but it doesn't look like it's going to be happening right now. And it really sucks because, do you think, in your heart of hearts, that this team, that gauntlet they had, did they just blow their proverbial load?
It's very possible because we thought that those were the games that they were going to lose at. They're going to get swept in, and it was kind of the complete opposite. And now they're playing teams that are just not as good, I guess, to say the least. And they're getting, oh my God, it's awful.
Listen,
awful hockey.
And I was saying the other day, I said, the one stat the Flyers have led in almost every game is shots on goal, not shots in goal, just shots on goal, and that just shows you that they're still missing that premier goal scorer or a star and a superstar, not just one.
Yeah.
I don't think you need 2 superstars, but a star and a superstar. And, the whole Coots thing makes me wonder a little bit too. Do you think he gets to see? Do you think that's a sell job?
I do.
You think they're putting him in a window to try to sell?
100%. 100% because they're not trying to have these contracts that are, 5 years down the road. They gave him a 8-year contract. I want to say 3 years ago. It may have been 2, and it's for a lot of money. So I think that they're gonna try and get out of that contract by all means necessary.
Mhm,
And if it means slapping a fake C on him,
mhm.
that's so be it. It fell flat when when he got benched 2 weeks into it.
Yeah. Do you think that was a disconnect?
I
Between
Possibly.
Torts and
It's
Briere?
very possible because Tortorella was like, "I'm not talking about it." Like, he would not answer
Oh,
questions to it.
he sent out his
Yeah.
underling to do it.
He's like, "I'm not answering questions."
No, and he got really pissed off about
Yeah,
it. Yeah, that was like the most Torts we've seen Torts be so far while he's been here as a player.
100%.
That well, no, it wasn't that wasn't Torts. Never mind. But no, I mean, just listen. This team's building. I like what I've seen so far. I'm not worried about high draft picks at this point. I think as long as they start just getting good guys and start developing these guys. I mean, we still have not seen anybody like I know Ivan Fedorov just got up here. We
Sure.
don't know what he's got, but he's a beast.
He fills the net.
Literally, it was
He
that
fills the
there's
net.
that commercial. I don't know when you watch the game with the walrus in the
Yeah.
net.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it is. And who else is the other guy they brought up? The other Russian. I'm not going to try to pronounce his
Yeah, I
name.
don't know.
I mean, they had to send one
I
down.
know exactly what you're talking
They had
about,
to
though.
send one down, so they sent him down.
Yeah.
So you still have him. I'm not off Sam Urson,
No,
and
not at all.
and I'm not trying to find excuses. But I'm telling you right now, the Carter Hart thing definitely threw this, especially that position for a loop.
Yeah, and Tortorella came out the other day and he said, I quote, "I played the hell out of him." And he's tired.
Yeah,
And yeah, that's because he was not meant to be the guy for the season. It was supposed to be Carter Hart, of course, with Urson spelling him. And everything went down and Urson got thrown into the lion's share of games. And yeah, Tortorella is completely right. He played the crap out of him.
yeah.
And it kind of all caught up to him.
Well, I'm guessing
And
Felix.
Cam Peterson was not the answer.
I'm guessing Felix Sandstrom's going to be out here at this point.
I would think so.
Yeah, and I like him, but just as a nice guy.
Nah, we're a goalie factory.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. Hey, listen, they still have another one in the works too.
I know. Well, they drafted like 2 or 3 goalies last year
Well,
too.
they need to because Joe. I mean, again, same conversation with Matty B. He said to me, he goes, "Al, we have not had a real Carter Hart was the best goalie
Yeah.
chance we had in a long time, and see what the hell happened there."
Yeah.
Um,
That's I mean, I don't want to downplay what it is, but that's a fluke thing. Had nothing to do with him not being able to play.
Being able to play. No, I know, but it's just like it's dumb luck,
Right? Yeah.
for us. Not dumb, like what again? Not downplaying
Right.
what
Right. Not
happened,
downplaying it,
but
of
just
course.
dumb luck for Flyers fans because like for how many years have we been always looking for that
Mhm.
goalie and we just have not had it.
100%.
We've had good streaks for some guys. Yeah, Emery for a little bit did well. Bush did
Yeah.
well for a while. I mean, he was during the 2010 run. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Bush. But I mean, ultimately, they just not have had the guy. Me and you. I mean, especially you. I'll give you the most credit. Carter Hart. You were clamoring for him since he was like in diapers to come up and play. And this kind of crap went down.
Yeah.
Like Scott. And then you saw that it's pushed to 2025.
That's unbelievable.
So and he might be able to play
KHL.
if they waive his or allow him to use his visa or something.
Something like
That's
that.
pretty crazy.
Again, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I know the
nothing
headline
about
of it. I
know nothing about it.
yeah, I did not dive deep into that at all.
No, but
Out of sight, out of mind.
Flyers only have 2 games left tomorrow
Yeah.
and next Tuesday, I think. Right? That's it. Am I missing one? Yeah.
No, I think you're right.
And the Sixers are only
Wait, that doesn't sound right. A 4-game separation to end the season?
maybe there's one on the weekend. I'm missing one. Yeah, there is because hold on. I'll tell you right now. Yeah, there's 3 games left.
Okay.
So there's Rangers tomorrow, the Devils on Saturday, Capitals on
Wow.
Tuesday.
All right. Well, no, they are not making the playoffs, Al.
Well, the funny thing is, I remember before it started, we were looking at the last 10 games, and I said the Rangers game's the one that scares me the least. And the only reason is because by the time we get 3 games in,
They're not playing.
unless there's some seeding flip flopping they're worried about. No,
They clinched weeks ago against the Flyers. They clinched.
The Devils are trying to squeak in. You got the Capitals who are were at the time behind, they're nipping on our heels.
Yeah.
And even I think one of the other teams, Islanders at that time, were and then the rest of them just want to play spoilers.
Yeah.
So they have, some of them are playing for jobs and contracts for next year. So
Right.
Rangers are just like, we're gonna get ready for the playoffs. and how about I want to just check the standings real quick. Yeah, so you got right now we are third from the bottom in the Metro Division. The Devils are right behind us, 4 points. The Blue Jackets are way out of it. So the Rangers and Hurricanes clinch the playoff spot. Islanders have 87 points. The Capitals have 85 points. And the Penguins have 84 points. So even the Penguins have a chance.
Even the
We
Penguins,
thought we were.
I know.
On that note,
bye-bye.
Bye. No, guys, thank you for joining us tonight. I know we went a little longer tonight, but thank you for hanging out with us as always. I want to thank our great sponsors over at Sherry'sTickets.com. Use that great promo code EoP10 to save 10% off. Or at CherryInjuryLaw.com for all your workers' comp, motor vehicle, personal injury, criminal law needs. Call them at 610-565-0300. Don't forget, Dolan's Bar, 24 Sellers Avenue. And don't forget, May 25th, the Crucker and Mickey Morandini will all be there for Wiffle Ball Man. It's hanging out with you. Very intimate setting. It makes it really easy to go meet your childhood baseball heroes and hang out and play a game of wiffle ball with them. We would have paid for that back in the day. And don't forget the Streetlight Kitchen and Bar in Drexel Hill at the Holiday Inn and Suites. And don't forget, we will be back there on May 11th for a pre and post game Phillies game for it's the Saturday for Mother's Day. So bring the wifey out, get her something to eat, hang out with her, and it might be a chance to win certain things there. We'll talk about that later.
Yes, sir.
Other than that, guys, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. Joe, as always, it's a pleasure. Other than that,
the pleasure is all yours, Al.
It is all mine. Other than that, I'm Big Al.
And I'm Joe Shear.
And we out.